Hello, I'm Mark Carell, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Environment, Safety, and Infrastructure. This video is intended to provide an overview of the information needed to comply with Air Force Instruction 90-2002 regarding tribal consultations and land management, and more importantly, help you build a proactive and productive tribal consultation program. A more detailed instruction is available in the Commander's Handbook for Tribal Consultation. Air Force policy reflects an understanding and respect for the significance tribes place on protected tribal resources. It's important to build stable and enduring government-to-government relations with federally recognized tribal governments. These are defined as a federally recognized Indian or Alaskan Native tribe, band, nation, pueblo, village, or community as listed in the Federal Register. This AFI shows you how to build those relationships through meaningful consultation and effective cross-cultural communication with tribal representatives. A key aspect is personal engagement. Air Force command staff or their representatives are required to conduct face-to-face meetings at least once a year, although more often is helpful. These meetings should be used to establish mutually beneficial relationships with tribal leaders and to periodically discuss installation or tribal issues of interest. Tribal consultation is vitally important to assuring our Air Force mission, and command involvement is the key.
The primary mission is to keep Air Force personnel trained at the highest level possible. There are many considerations, both on and off base, that weigh in on the mission. All Air Force installations have neighbors who are affected by operations. It is the responsibility of command staff to maintain good relationships in every way possible. When those neighbors are American Indian or Alaskan Native tribes, we have to abide by some specific rules. An installation commander's role is similar to that of an ambassador. The commander sets the tone for discussions geared towards building relationships that mutually benefit the Air Force and the tribes. Recognized tribes are essentially sovereign nations, so proceed with appropriate decorum. It is Air Force policy to take into consideration the significance that tribes place on protected tribal resources. It is important to build stable and enduring government-to-government relations with federally recognized tribal governments. This AFI helps build those relationships through meaningful consultation and effective cross-cultural communication with tribal representatives. As stated in the introduction, this AFI requires command staff to meet face-to-face, at least once a year, with tribal personnel. The military representative must be 06 or above or equivalent civilian leader of the installation, wing, or other Air Force organization with the authority to enter into agreements with tribes on installation and organization actions. All consultation requests should be initiated by the commander, who acts as an ambassador in this situation. A military or civilian government employee can then be designated as the installation tribal liaison officer. This person should be properly trained for the role. The commander's guide has extensive information on the requirements for this position. The topics discussed will vary from situation to situation. However, tribal rights and protected tribal resources are commonly the topics of conversation. Tribal resources are defined as natural resources and properties of traditional or customary religious or cultural importance. They can either be on or off Indian lands, retained by or reserved by or for Indian tribes. For example, low-level flight exercises might draw concerns about noise and disruptions to a protected piece of land that has been used for generations. Now, overflights compromise that use. Another example could be the use of water and water quality. For many tribes, the use of water and water quality can be central to their life and livelihood. Whatever the topic, the meetings are designed to keep lines of communication open. It can take a significant amount of planning and foresight to make all this work. Get the lay of the land before you take the next steps. It is important to be aware of any treaties that are in place and any consultations that came before. Becoming familiar with the culture is also very helpful. This can be through informal conversations, reading the tribal websites, or by consulting the tribal liaison. Often, the best location for the meetings will be at an off-site neutral location with sufficient meeting spaces. Make sure the meeting spaces provide enough room for informal discussions, as these are often where important conversations are held. It is recommended to invite at least 2 representatives from each tribe. It is recommended that 2 full days be dedicated for the meeting. This will allow time for formal introductions, setting expectations, and breakout sessions for specific topics and discussions. It is important to leave time for special discussions and informal conversations and social time, as this is often when relationships are built. The meeting should be tailored to what best fits the situation. If possible, a field trip of the installation and areas of interest for the tribal leaders can further discussions and help alleviate issues that may be unclear in the meeting. Keeping a record of the meeting is crucial to prepare the ITRP as a document of record. This will help inform future teams of what transpired and keep the discussion on track. Remember to ask permission of the tribal representatives ahead of time for approval to record the meetings. However the meetings are designed, the focus must be on building the relationship through a meaningful, deliberate interaction with the goal of addressing any challenges before they become conflicts. These mandatory consultations can create relationships that encourage understanding between all parties. The process is built on a foundation of respect, humility, flexibility, and openness. We can learn a great deal from these interactions.
Native Americans have served in a greater proportion than any other ethnic group in the Air Force, percentage-wise. Many more Native Americans. They still have that warrior spirit, the warrior going out and fighting for their country.
Hello, I'm Dr. James Wild, Deputy Federal Preservation Officer for the Air Force, and the Air Force's Cultural Resources subject matter expert. The U.S. government has a unique relationship with tribes. Air Force Instruction 90-2002 helps strengthen those relationships by requiring effective consultation and building personal relationships. A few key points to ensure successful consultation. You need to talk early and often, even between formal meetings. And listen more than you speak. Try to never interrupt. Do not promise things you can't deliver. Be flexible in your interactions, especially in regard to time. Relax as you would talking to a mayor or a state governor. And finally, consider that your conduct at these meetings can very positively affect your relationships with tribal leaders. By working together with tribes, we can ensure Air Force training can continue in the most efficient and effective manner possible.